Well, hey everybody, it's Joel Toppin here, and I've got a new VASSAL module we put together for Spielworxx Games. This is the London Necropolis Railway, and it's a very interesting topic. The topic of the game is you're managing the removal of the deceased from the city of London, starting in the year 1854 and ending in, 1941 is when the game ends. So each player is going to play 12 rounds, and the purpose of this video isn't to teach the game, but to show you how to use the VASSAL module. So I'm going to work under the assumption that you know enough about the game that what you're going to take away from this is how to use VASSAL. So when you first load up the VASSAL module, you see the display includes two single-colored boxes at the bottom of the screen. There is a blue player mat up in the upper left with the first player token. There is the green player mat over on the right, and everything's just kind of tiled together. You'll see that everybody, the blue player and the green player have their starting money, their starting discs. Their train is in the right location. They have one staff member. The only thing they haven't done is drawn up their 3 cubes and selected their 3 random coffin tokens. Now, the coffin tokens are drawn out of this bag, and they're drawn randomly, but I'm going to show you an easy way to do that in just a moment. Before you play, you really need to select how many players you're going to play, because you can see there's 2 different central board displays. One is arrayed for 2 and 3 player. The other is arrayed for a 4 player setup. There's 2 pawns. Bottom line is we have a lot of extra parts that we're not going to need. So let's go ahead and select a 4 player game for grins for the purpose of this video. And so when you select that button, left click on it, on the little meeple it says 4P, you'll notice that it generated an orange player and a gray player position at the table. We can call it that. It got rid of the 2 and 3 player central player board, and it left the 4 player central player board. It has the crypts, the brown, the yellow. It's supposed to be white, but they look kind of gray to me in the rule book, so I made them a little bit more of a gray than a white. But there you go. And now the game is just about ready to play. So the next thing you're going to need to do, and I'm going to zoom in real close so you can see this well. Each player has a London terminal blue display with the different rooms. In order to collect your cubes, you could select the pieces button up here and then just drag them into this box. But an easier way is simply to left click where the cube is on your London terminal. So if I click it 1, 2, 3 times, you'll see it generates 3 cubes for me. So boom, done. So all the players can do that. We'll go over to the green player side, and he'll do the same thing. We'll go down to the gray player, and then the orange player. Boom. All of those are done. Next thing we do is we need to draw up our coffin. So the same thing, left click on the coffin, and it will draw a random coffin token out. And all of a sudden, I can't remember if we draw 2 tokens or if we draw 3. I think it's just 2. So, because it's starting up here, I think we see 2, 3 cubes and just 2 coffins. I'm pretty sure it's 2. I'm going to go ahead and expand the window a little bit to make this quicker and just quickly draw 2 for the green, 2 for the gray, and 2 for the, man, looks like we drew a bunch of gray tile or black tiles out of the bag of purple and gray for them, and it looks like 2 gray. A lot of gray came out, or I guess it's supposed to be black, but they kind of appear more gray. When I render things into 3D, sometimes it alters the color on me a little bit. Okay, so now the game is ready to play. The next thing you need to know about the game is when you selected the number of players. If you select less than 4, it's going to take some of the cards out of the deck that will not be used. They will end up in the removed pieces window. So when you open this window, you would see cards here. We don't now because none of them needed to be removed. But let's go ahead and fill up the deck. To do that, you just left click anywhere on the draw card slots, and it'll draw a card off the deck. The deck was also shuffled whenever you did the, I forgot to mention that. The deck is shuffled when you select how many players. That's part of that process. So the deck has been shuffled, so we're going to draw one card, and now we're going to select a blue and a gray cube to put beneath the card we just drew. So just left click on the little slot matching that color, draw the next card. Now we got to draw two blue cubes. Now there's a couple different ways you can do that, so I'm going to zoom in and show you quickly how you can draw two of the same color. Again, you can always draw pieces out of the pieces tray, or you can just left click here. If I select the cube I just drew and do a Control-C on it, I can clone it, and there it is. Another option is simply to drag the marker over and then click the blue spot again, and whichever method is going to work for you, just go ahead and use that method. So, second card is drawn. We will now draw the final card, and we have a gray and a green cube, and so that is how you will do that. Now let's imagine it's the blue player's turn. He wants to do a move here, and so maybe this is a good card for him to grab, so he'll go ahead and he wants to grab this card. So let's just say the window's zoomed way out here. It's really easy just to grab all of these, just select them and drag and drop, just like that. That's one easy way to do it. Or, let me undo it, I could drag, right click, send to blue player supplies, and it'll send everything kind of in this general area. So, and you can just spread out your cubes however you want, but everybody has a little spot right here that cubes will be sent to. What I like to do is just kind of set the card off to the side, put my cubes kind of on it to show what I'm doing. And so maybe if I'm doing all of these actions, I might just do something like that. If I'm selecting the card to put into a card slot, I'll just drag it over here to put it into the card slot. And then all I need to do is delete my cubes, and we're done. Now, if we were executing the blue portion of this, we can upgrade one of the rooms that has the cross matching the card we played. So every single room has a tile associated with it. I'm going to zoom in really tight on this. What you can do is you can left click and do a Control-A for the tile to add or upgrade. Right now, technically speaking, there's no tile in play on this room. If you had the physical game, there wouldn't be a tile there. Tiles are upgrades that you add according to card play. But in the module, basically, it's a three-state piece. So if I right-click and choose to add or upgrade, it'll upgrade the piece once. I look at that, and you'll see it has kind of a 3D effect to it now, so you know you got a tile on it. Let's imagine, though, that I want to see, well, where's this tile going to take me? I can hit upgrade again to see what the third state, the final upgrade of that room would look like. And then if I select it again, it brings me back to the state as though there was no upgrade tile there at all. In other words, you can loop through and cycle through the 3 different states that each room could be in. So if you want to explore what everything's going to look like, you can just kind of play around with it. And it will announce up here what a player's doing. And so you might want to tell your opponents what's going on, why you're doing what you're doing. So let's say we went ahead and upgraded this room. It cost us 2 money to do that. Oops. Screen moved a little more than I wanted it to. You can just double click to expand your stack, take your money out, and just delete it. Don't worry about deleting pieces. You can always get new ones up in here. So if a piece is deletable, don't worry, you can draw replacements up there. Pieces are also clonable, so when you get new money, you can clone the 5s, the 1s, you can clone discs, and so forth. All right, so that is how you upgrade your rooms. Same thing with the train up here. So if you were in the London terminus and you chose the gray tile to do, rather than collect this car for your train and put the card in the card slot, you could upgrade an existing tile, like so. And again, the Control-A will loop through having no counter there to having the added counter to having the upgraded counter. And the same is true of all the other spots on your railway display. Now, to move your train, you don't drag it around. In fact, you'll find you can't even select it. The reason is it's built into this entire tile. So you'll see that when you click on this tile, it kind of selects the whole thing. All you do is right-click on it, and you can move the train. Or you can just left-click and use the right arrow key on your keyboard to advance the train around. And I built it this way so that the little meeple would maintain its 3D effect as it moved around. I was playing around with some 3D effects in Illustrator, and so that's why I ended up building it that way. Lastly, over here is where you're going to bring your coffins. When you go to load up your train, you can just stack the pieces. If you want to separate them and like so, you're welcome to do that. I find that just stacking them is fine. Say we got them all the way over to here. You're basically just going to do a lot of dragging and dropping. Just remember to collect your coin when you put it into one of the coin slots. The module does not enforce rules to the game, so make sure you're abiding by the rules. I don't have staff in any of these rows, so I can't put, by rule, I can't put one here, but the module will allow you to violate rules. Okay, so if I put one here, that's illegal, but the module is going to let you do it, so make sure you're aware of that. If you want to purchase more staff, you can right-click and just clone an existing staff. Double-click on him, put him down there. That's what this card would have allowed us to do. I think it cost us a couple money to do that. So I'll just get rid of that. If you want to buy one of the crypts, if you right-click on it, it doesn't let you do much of it. It doesn't let you do anything. There's no right-click menu for it. You're going to drag and drop these around. So just zoom out, drag, drop. If you have a small screen, you can do it in stages, or the screen will move with you when you move to the edge of the screen. The reason I did that is I couldn't find really an elegant way without a lot of work to make them just fly to the proper location. And I figure, I could spend an entire day programming that, or you could just drag and drop. So we're just going to drag and drop. How about we do that? Let's remember, it is a board game. We pick up pieces with our hands. We move them around the table. Let's not forget that. Okay, we already used a card, so remember to draw up a new card. And again, remember to put down your the discs that match the topmost card on the draw pile after you've drawn your card. And I think that's just about it for how to use the module. It's pretty straightforward, but again, there's a few things, hidden things that I wanted you to see. So you don't have to be dragging and dropping from the draw bag, although you're welcome to do so. I did create the left click on this box to draw a new coffin token. So if I click it again, you'll see it dragged out 2 more random pieces, and then we can add new mourner cubes and so forth. Your prestige marker is already pre-positioned in its place. You can move that around. Those are, again, there's no right-click feature for it, so you can't delete it by mistake or something like that. If the pieces are not in here, then they're not deletable, and you should be able to find them if you've misplaced it. I did put a notes feature in here so that you can use this for scoring purposes. Sometimes it's helpful for each person maybe to type in their own score, and then if you want to do like a public notes, you could save it and then everybody could see their score. That might be something that players find useful. Last but not least, if you click on the help up on your menu bar, it might look different on a Windows machine, but if you click on help and then go to module instructions, it will pull up pretty much what I just showed you here. So if you forget how to do something, or someone else hasn't had the opportunity to watch the video and they want to know how to use the module, pretty much everything you need to use the module is found in here. So this is London Necropolis Railway, the VASSAL module instructions. Oh, one more thing. Forgot about the first player token. I've set it up by default for the blue player. It is movable. There's no right-click function, but you can just drag it around. Say, we're going to make orange player number 1. I just created enough space beneath the Necropolis display on each player's playmat to accommodate the first player token. So you're free to move that around as you desire. When you sign in, I should also mention, there is a solo seat in the game. It doesn't really do anything other than report. Like if I type up here, I am solo, it'll say your name up there. I think there might be some features that will report the player side has done something. So if I delete a token, no, it doesn't say it on there. All right, some players, when you do something, might report your player side. But bottom line is there's no solitaire capability in the module. It's just a player seat I add as a matter of routine. in the event that it might be useful later on. And you can, 4 players could sign in as observer and play the module. There's not you don't maintain a hand in the game, so there's no hidden windows or anything like that. So, London Necropolis Railway, this is how to use the VASSAL module. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the game. It is a fun game on an unusual topic from Spielworxx Games.